You guys remember when I released my most anticipated games of 2019 and Metro Exodus was on there? Well, I don't know how to really feel about it. I was pretty vocal when the Division 2 became an Epic Store exclusive. If you guys haven't heard, let me back it up a little bit. If you guys haven't heard, Metro Exodus has now been offered probably a fuckload of money from Epic to exclusively launch on the Epic Games launcher. The Epic Games Store, we've been talking about it more and more as more games seem to be switching over and getting those exclusive launch rights. Metro Exodus is just another one in a long list of games. The publisher is obviously Deep Silver. This was one of my most anticipated games of the year. I'm really excited to play it. I didn't get to play the first two, so I'm going in with like a fresh take, a fresh look at what this game is. And up until yesterday, the game was being sold for pre-order on Steam. The game was on the front page, top sellers, like it was getting so much free promotion from being offered. I say free, but I mean they do end up taking a 30% cut. But Metro Exodus now announced that they are going to be going to the Epic Games launcher exclusively for the next year, which means that this game will be available on Steam February 15th, 2020, which is pretty fucking insane. And you can kind of tell that Steam is pretty pissed off about it. They pulled the game for sale, but the page is actually still up because of all the people who pre-ordered the game on Steam. Those keys are still going to be honored. So if you were one of the people who did pre-order, double-edged sword, congratulations for having such a rare game for the next year. But also, I mean, fucking pre-order, no, come on. But basically, Steam put out a notice here saying sales of Metro Exodus have been discontinued on Steam due to a publisher decision to make the game exclusive to another PC store. We think the decision to remove this game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after such a long pre-sale period. And I actually have to agree with them here. We apologize to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through February 15th release date, but we were only recently informed of the decision and given limited time to let everybody know. I imagine this deal has been in the works for a while. It probably got penned, I'm going to venture to say last month, and they waited until 2 weeks before the game launches to announce something like this. I think it's actually a pretty shady move. I was pretty vocal when it came to Division 2 because everyone was shitting on Ubisoft for making the choice. And I just said, in that choice, because you can buy it on Uplay, you can buy it on the Epic Games Store, all that's doing is just trying to get more people to buy it on Uplay. And for me personally, that's where I was going to get the game anyway, because I find that if you buy a Ubisoft game on Steam, all it does is launch a Uplay and you just play it through there anyway. It's just an awkward middleman situation. This, on the other hand, this is a third-party title. 4A Games is the developer, Deep Silver's the publisher. You don't really have a launcher for Deep Silver games, so this game is one of those ones that I think would benefit from being sold on multiple platforms. The choice to go to the Epic Games launcher, for me, is a little bit of a mixed bag. I believe that the Epic Games launcher has been taking steps to get that consumer-friendly, the pro-consumer features in there. They have regional pricing for most regions. I've actually heard reports that some regions still don't have that, so it's a little unfortunate there. They do have a refund system that matches Steam's. One of the big things that I think this launcher or this storefront is missing is reviews. You're actually not able to put a review score on a game that launches and is being sold on the platform. And I think that's one thing that I wish they would actually have at this point. Because now you're going to be going into the Wild West. You're going to have to rely on people that you either watch on YouTube or guys like IGN and GameSpot. So it's a pretty shitty thing to get like an unbiased review unless you watch people like me or some other people. Self plug there. I really don't know how to feel about it because personally for me, the features that a lot of people are talking about that are outside of the review system, things like having your friends on there and all the community hub and stuff, I personally don't use any of that shit. I have a friends list for the odd time that I end up playing with people and like got to invite them to a game. If I'm on the Epic Games launcher, I'll have like my close friends, guys I make videos with, and that's pretty much about it. So like those features don't really, they don't tip the scale for me in terms of where I buy a product. If I have to buy a game on Uplay because it's a Uplay exclusive, I'll most likely do that. If a game is on the Epic Games launcher, I think I would. I honestly think that if a game is an exclusive to Epic Games and I want to play the game, I'm okay with downloading another launcher and purchasing a game over there, because the good thing about me is I can turn that into content where I can then create a video on said product and I can put it out to you guys, and there's inherent value there, not just with the ad revenue that I would make on the video, but just in the fact that I could create content. And I think that's worthwhile for buying my games on whatever platform I have to. But at the same time, I understand why there's so many people that just would rather have it on both platforms and have that choice. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of people that are equating this to the console exclusivity. And I gotta say, I think that's going one step too far. Because if I want to play a game that is exclusive to Sony, and I have an Xbox and I can't get it on my console of choice, I have to then shell out hundreds of dollars to get a console. Whereas with this, I just have to download another launcher. Now, granted, you can argue the features and you can argue that Steam in this sense is actually more consumer friendly. And it's so crazy watching Steam be called pro-consumer. I find that fucking hilarious. In this case, it is, but in general, let's be honest, Steam hasn't really done much. Steam is still a pretty shit platform, but it's the one that everybody uses. But I just find that console argument, the console equivalent of the war, I find that a little bit too far gone. But one thing I do want to bring up here is the fact that a lot of people I've been seeing on the forums and on Reddit and even on Twitter have been talking about the idea of pirating the game. Once the DRM gets cracked and people can jump in and torrent the game, there's a shift happening in the entertainment industry as a whole, not even just video games, but this is happening when you talk about things like Netflix and Hulu, and Disney's making their own platform with their own stuff, and it went from you could get everything on Netflix versus you can get everything on Steam. And then now that everything is splitting out, I don't have that big of a problem with having to play on Uplay and Origin and Steam. I don't have a problem with owning different launchers. But then when you talk about the equivalency with Netflix and having to pay a subscription for Netflix and Hulu and Disney and Amazon and all of that, even if all of those platforms were absolutely free, it would be a lot easier if you could just get all of your content in one place. And that's what people are starting to discuss more and more often. Now, granted, with all of those subscription services, they are exactly that, subscription services. It's another non-equivalent when you're talking about just downloading another like free launcher, free storefront. But the idea of all of our content being split between multiple platforms, it's starting to get to people. And I'd be curious to see how big of a hit Metro Exodus is going to take. Now, granted, this game is actually going to be $10 cheaper on the Epic Game Store, because what they're doing is saying, hey, the split that Epic is going to take from our revenue is just going to be passed along to everybody else. So they're able to do that because obviously Steam takes a 30% cut, with the Epic Game Store actually taking a 12% cut, I believe, which is a huge difference. Now, granted, again, with this Switch and how they've burnt so many people and how they've pissed off Steam, I'm very curious to see the backlash and what that's actually going to equate to when it comes to the sales. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. I know this is a hot button topic and a lot of people wanted me to talk about it. I've been getting tweets about it, DMs about it. So here's the video. Honestly, for me personally, like I said, as a content creator, I can find value playing a game almost anywhere. I don't give a fuck what platform it's on for me. But I would understand from a consumer perspective why so many people are pissed off with this choice, and I understand why Steam is so pissed off with this choice, because they've been giving them free promo forever. They aren't even able to take the 30% cut that they normally would. It's just, honestly, it's just bad fucking business. And honestly, I think this is the beginning of Epic Games' war on Steam. And I'm very curious. There could be a lot of industry fallout from this. And I'm just curious to kind of analyze it, talk about it with you guys, and just see where this goes. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. My opinion, double-edged sword. I understand both sides, but still a fucking scumbag move from the Metro Exodus guys, and I feel like it's going to come back to bite them in the ass. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys want insane deals on actually legit PC keys from developers, the platforms I work with actually work with developers. They contact them. It's no gray market G2A bullshit. Use the links down in the description below. We got Fanatical, we got Humble Bundle, so if you guys want to support charity as well. And I also have Chrono GG, who sell a discounted game every 24 hours. You guys can check all those links down below. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. My name is Bigfry, and I'll see you on the next one.